Now, okay, so this team, we actually want to talk about getting the right mindset, getting the right mindset. So what I realized is this, I have been, of course, talking to a lot of people, including yourself. I'm actually a bit concerned that, a lot of people still get the wrong idea about what investing is about. Of course, a lot of you have already get it, okay, but I think there's actually still some of us here, okay, may still have the wrong idea what investing is about. And obviously, if let's say you have the wrong mindset, you have the wrong understanding of investing, you will never be successful investor lah. Okay. Okay, so definitely I'm not saying that, all of us here have this issue. Okay, I'm quite sure a lot of us has already got the right mindset. So but I thought now and then it's actually good to have a reminder to ourselves, okay, to really refocus, to really understand why are we actually putting our money at risk. Okay, the fact that you go and buy a stock, you are putting your money from your pocket, okay, real hard cash from your pocket, and after that put it in somebody else's pocket. So why are we taking this risk? So sometimes it's always very important to go and revisit, okay, end of the day, why are we doing all this? So this is what I mean by getting the right mindset. And I think it actually, it deserves like one semester to actually go through to really remind ourselves. So this is the theme for this semester. Okay, again, just to reiterate, what do I mean by getting the right mindset? So recently I've been watching a lot of, I don't know why, this Chinese variety interview. Okay, I also don't know why recently keep watching that. Now one of my idol is Huang Po. So some of you may know him. So it's quite a joker in the Chinese film. And he was actually made this statement, which I thought is actually quite apt, okay, to us. If you're not aiming to be the richest person, having 100 million and 1 million is the same. Okay, so he was basically interviewing this guy and said, wow, every time you do a movie, you make about, I don't know, 10 million, those Chinese movie, they can actually make a lot of money, 10 million, 50 million, whatever. And he is actually rejecting, he's actually turning away some of the opportunity to make movies. So that's why people ask him. So this is actually his reply. If you're not aiming to be the richest person, having 100 million and 1 million is actually the same. Okay, to a certain extent, there's some truth. So to a certain extent, so, yes, if let's say, we don't have enough money, okay, that is an issue. But after a while, there is sort of like, there's sort of like a peak. Okay, like for example, even you can afford, you also won't want to have like Michelin dinner every night. Correct. So some of us, even if you can afford, we also doesn't mean that must always buy Rolex. Okay, after a while, the way we actually spend money is not a function of affordability anymore. Okay, there's just so much, so much we need. Okay, there's just so much we need. And we can just live with it. So this is my point here. End of the day, investing should never be about more money. Okay, so when that happens, when you actually see investing from that perspective, it's about making money, more money, then what's going to happen? The greed will set in. Okay, this is inevitable. The greed will set in, and once greed will set in, you'll do funny things, you'll do stupid things, and end up losing money. Okay, so I'm quite sure you can see every now and then you can hear stories of scams and so on and so forth. If you ask me, I won't blame the scammer totally. Okay, so usually for a scam to happen, two parties got to work. One party want to slap, the other party want to get slapped. Okay, then the scam can come into picture. Okay, so if you have the impression that investing is about greed, then there is a likelihood that you fall into scams. So I want to reiterate this point again. I'm quite sure a lot of you all know, but it's just a good reminder. So what is investing is about? It's actually basically making sure that we have a clear investment objective. Okay, clear investment objective, and have a system to achieve it. Okay, have a system to achieve it. Okay, like, so for example, recently I had a discussion with my friend. I was helping them to do a little bit of financial planning, you know. So quite interesting, you know. Okay, so we had, during our discussion, we all agreed, yes, they want, their objective is to be financially free. Okay, what is financially free? You actually have your passive income, okay? Your passive income covering your expenses, so financially free, passive income cover expenses. So of course, then if let's say this is your objective, what kind of stocks should you focus on? Growth stocks or income stocks? Can I just trouble you all to share on the chat, please? If let's say this is also your objective, okay, you want to be financially free, what kind of stocks should you focus on? Okay, would you actually want to have income or growth stocks? Okay, thank you so much. Obviously, it's actually income stocks, okay. But then during our conversation, he keep asking about things like, hey, should I actually buy this unit trust? Is this unit trust good or no good? Then I say, hey, hello, all these unit trusts don't even actually give dividends. So why you keep asking about unit trust? Okay, then why you keep talking about buying things that actually don't give you dividends, and yet you want to go financially free? So this is actually what I mean here. So number one, okay, you must be very clear on your objective. And after, number two, how do you design your investment system to achieve it? So this is what I'm going to emphasize over the whole semester. Okay, hopefully this is going to be interesting. Hopefully it makes sense to you. Okay, again, like I said, you know, if let's say this is something not to your alley, or you want to have some comments add on, sure, let me know. Okay, every session, as much as I can adapt lah. Okay, of course, I cannot promise you everything. I will try to adapt as much as I can. Okay, so for today's session, okay, this is the agenda. So get the right financial mindset. Okay, again, what do you mean by right financial mindset? Then, of course, I think these two parts, we should keep it. I believe you'll enjoy these two parts. Okay, what's the watch list, and of course the portfolio game. Okay, there's a portfolio game. So of course, I'm actually very happy to share that now we have upgraded the portfolio game. We have actually upgraded the portfolio game. Now it's online. Okay, to a certain extent, it's live. You play on the website. Okay, finally we have done so. The only catch is that, you know, you are the very, very first batch of people who are playing it. Okay, so hopefully there isn't a bug. But yes, I think it's actually going to be more interesting. So I'll talk about the portfolio game later. Okay. Okay, Sarinta, no, unit trust doesn't mean that, okay, some unit trusts actually give dividends, some don't. Okay, doesn't mean that if they give funds, they're called unit trust, no. Okay, so get the right financial mindset. Okay, so of course, very simple. Okay, the right financial mindset is really understanding your investment objective. Okay, what do I mean by have the right financial mindset? Understand investment objective, and after that, design system to meet the objective. Okay, this is what I mean by, okay, get the right financial mindset. Okay, once again, what I mean by get the right financial mindset: understand your objective, design a system to achieve your objective. And if you ask me, so of course, based on my experience, based on me talking to a lot of people, okay, these are the four main investment objectives. Okay, or the four common investment objectives, or either that, the four main categories of investment objective we could have. Okay, so number one is protection against unforeseen circumstances. Number two is wealth accumulation. Okay, number three is create passive income, and number four is diversification. So these are the four main. Anybody thinks that there should be other investment objective? Maybe you actually want to share onto the chat, please. Okay, does anybody think that there should be other investment objectives? Okay, anyone? Okay, don't be shy. So like I said, this is not my class, no right or wrong answer. Retirement, so to a certain extent, is create passive income. Okay, you want to, and of course, wealth accumulation. So yes, so I suppose it can be under this subset. Hedge against inflation. Thank you so much. But then from a personal perspective, okay, so that means, yeah, okay, thank you so much. So maybe one more is just wealth preservation. Okay, agree with you. Okay, thanks. Maybe I just add it in. Good point. So it's more like a wealth preservation. Okay, thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, legacy planning. Thank you so much. So I think I can actually park it under wealth preservation. Okay, thank you so much. Anybody, anything else to add? Okay, maybe just get you to think. So of course, think of it for yourself. Think of it for yourself. Freedom to pursue passion, I think, create passive income, financial freedom. So that is what I have actually put it under support causes. Okay, thank you. Support causes. Oh, sorry, sorry. Okay, 1 minute. Go to space. Okay, support causes. Okay. Thank you so much. So I think support causes, it should be actually one of them as well. Okay, thank you. So I can actually put it in support causes. Okay. Yeah, go to space. Like for example, this will probably be under wealth accumulation. Wealth accumulation. So basically, you wealth accumulate for a specific for a specific objective. So like for example, going to space or whatever. So I think that will be under wealth accumulation. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, if not, I think that generically speaking, so these are some of our objectives. So of course, for those who do not have a very clear investment objective, you may actually want to take reference on this list. I believe this is almost everything already. Okay, I believe this is almost everything already. Or either that in terms of category wise. In terms of categorize, I think these are all the category we have. Okay, so I hope you all can start thinking, okay, end of the day, really, we shouldn't be about more money, but money for what? Money for what? And I believe is actually under all this item that we actually see here. Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. Okay, Sarinta, the support courses can be a bit different. So the way you design your wealth for support courses can be different. Okay, like for example, we actually have, I think one of my ex-student. So what he did was this, he actually had this intention to create a fund so that the church get income on a perpetual basis. Okay, so it's actually possible. So it's a bit about legacy planning. So they can actually do it such that they have a fund, they invest the fund so that the charity organization actually get to benefit on a perpetual basis. Also, that is actually possible. So it's slightly different. Okay, but I do know where you're coming from. Okay, in that case, of course, these are just a guide. These are just a guide. So as long as it makes sense to you. Okay, great. So this is what's going to happen here. I think for my part, I will actually focus more on protection, wealth accumulation, create passive income diversification. Of course, I think it makes sense. Yeah, I think I can also talk a bit about the legacy planning and the support causes part and in the subsequent session. Yeah, I think these are very good ideas. So how do we actually design investment systems to actually meet that? Okay, so basically this is how this 4 session is actually going to run. Now we will have different sessions to talk about how you can design different investment systems to actually meet all these investment objectives. Okay. So I just want to use my case as an example so that it's clearer. And of course, I'm quite sure a lot of you have actually seen this before. Okay, so basically for protection is about insurance lah. Okay, if you ask me, a lot of people thought that for me, the first thing, if I got spare cash, I'll go to investment. No. The first thing, if I got money, spare cash, I will do protection first. I think that's more important. Okay, later we'll talk about this a bit more. So in terms of like wealth accumulation and create passive income. Okay, again, I think this is a revision. Okay, end of the day, it's very important to quantify it. Okay, you don't just keep accumulating wealth, then again you go back to the same problem. So end of the day, it's very important to quantify. Okay, so how do we actually quantify this? Okay, I'm quite sure you have seen this before, so this is just a reminder. So this is what I did here. I actually calculate, how much I need to support myself and my wife. This is based on current cost. So basically, to sustain my current lifestyle, I need about $4,000. I need about $4,000 per month to cover based on the current cost. So of course, for me to retire, which is about 20 years later, the same basket of goods will actually cost me about $7,000. $7,000. Okay. So hopefully you can remember, I'm quite sure I asked you this question before. Let's say my funds, my retirement fund can generate 6% return. And every month I want $7,000, which means every year I want $84,000. So what should be the fund size be? Okay, anyone can remember? No, I think this is more like a refresher. Okay, so basically here is the question. So I want to create a passive income. Thank you so much. I want to create a passive income of 7,000 per month or 84,000 per year. So if I can hit about 6% return, okay, my retirement fund should be about 1.4 million. So this is actually how I quantify my investment objective. Okay, so of course, basically this four. So my personal investment objective is this four. At least for now. At least for now. Protection, wealth accumulation, passive income, diversification, this four. And as I mentioned, it's good to quantify them. So how I quantify is really to find out how much I need. You can calculate how much you need, you can calculate. Based on the current cost, then you multiply by inflation factor. Okay. So basically, this is my investment objective, 1.4 million and a fully paid property. And of course, with a 1.4 million, I'm able to generate about $7,000 per month. Okay. So this is how I set my investment objective. I just want to stop a bit at this juncture. So anybody has any questions or comments, how I actually formulate my investment objective? So once again, these are my 4 investment objectives, at least right now: protection, wealth accumulation, create passive income, diversification. And what I want to highlight is it's good to quantify it. Okay. And how I quantify this part, wealth accumulation, create passive income, is to find out how much I need. How much I need. Okay. How much I need to actually cover my expense. How much I need to cover expense, and with that I actually can work out what is the total value I require. Also, this is my objective. Yu Xuan, we are not talking about the instrument yet. We are just talking about the objective here. Of course, yes, CPF Life is one of my systems to help me achieve this objective. Okay, yes, I will do that. I use that. Okay, but now we're not talking about that. We're actually talking about well, now we're actually talking about what is the objective. Okay, for insurance, Grace, yes, that's for protection. Okay, I have used insurance for my protection. So that's for my objective to protect against unforeseen circumstances. I'll definitely talk a lot more about it later. Okay, any other questions? In the expense, okay. So basically, yes, I actually put it under medical. Okay, if you talk in terms of expense, right? So the only insurance when I retire, I still need to pay, right, is actually the hospitalization plan. So I actually put it under here. Yeah, so maybe ignore this bracket. Yes, 6% is quite realistic. So even today, if I buy REITs, I can get 6%. And you think about this, like for example, I bought my Singtel 20 years ago. Okay, I bought my Singtel 20 years ago. I bought at 170. Yeah. So if I'm not wrong, based on the current dividend, I am getting about 10% yield, something like this. Okay, so imagine, let's say I buy a REIT today. Okay, I'm quite sure 20 years later, if let's say a property is still around, the rental should have gone up. But based on my purchase price 20 years ago, okay, I think 6% is very realistic. So we are always talking about your dividend yield, our dividend yield, which is based on the time when we buy the product. Okay, it's not about current yield. Okay, it's not about current yield. And in fact, if you talk about current yield, 6%, it's a bit stretched, but it's actually still possible. Any other questions, comments? Questions, comments? Okay, good. Okay, if no questions or comments, okay, of course, all this is recorded. I just make sure it's being recorded. Okay, is it recorded? Okay, I just make sure it's being recorded now. Okay, it's recorded, yes. So all this is recorded. Also, of course, if you actually want to have a detailed analysis of all these numbers, you can actually check out the recordings after. Okay, so I have these 4 objectives: protection, wealth accumulation, create passive income, and diversification. So basically, whatever I do, every single cent I put inside an investment, okay, I have to ask myself, which objective are they trying to serve? So now currently I have what I call 6 investment systems. I have 6 investment systems. You can think of it this way, so I can 6 pots of money, 6 pots of money, or 6 pots where I put my money in. Okay, so obviously shares is the main one. Okay, so shares is my main one. This is the main instrument I use for investment. Okay, then after that, I also do this thing called margin on REITs. Okay, so basically I buy REITs, but margin on REITs means what? I borrow money to buy REITs. So it's a bit of high risk instrument. Okay, okay, I'm not encouraging you to do this. Okay, why I actually put it here is because this is my real life investment systems. Okay, this is not theory. This is my real life investment systems. So realistically, I'm using margin, so I don't think I should say anything else about it. Okay, CPF. Okay, like I said, there are certain things whereby you have to do one. Myself look at it from an investment perspective. So CPF, I definitely use insurance. Okay. To me, property, even if you're talking about one property, it can also have an investment perspective. So I will definitely talk about property slightly later, but long story short here is this. I actually upgraded, okay, from a smaller property to the bigger one. Okay, and the main reason is because of wealth accumulation. One of the main reasons, of course, there's a various reasons. One of the main reasons is actually because of wealth accumulation. So even though I'm only talking about one property, okay, so it can also be seen as a investment system. So that one I'm quite sure a lot of people know. In Singapore, a lot of people actually make money from property. Okay, so for me, my current property, I actually may not have the intention to service the loan throughout. Okay, at a certain point in time, I may just want to downgrade back to a smaller property. Okay, but when I do so, I'm able to release some cash. So this is what I mean by seeing property as an investment perspective. Of course, we can talk about it slightly later. Okay, then of course, I also do into unit trust, ETFs. And eventually, I want to go into overseas properties. This is not done yet. I have not done this yet, overseas properties. But eventually, I want to go into it. Okay, so currently, I have all these 6 systems and one under planning. And like I mentioned, all these systems, there is a very specific objective. Okay, why I actually buy into all this. Okay, as you can see here. So my stocks, okay, now the main role is to do wealth accumulation. So every month I'll be buying stocks. Okay, as I preach in the class, every month I'm buying stocks, selling stock, buying stocks is actually more for wealth accumulation. Of course, eventually, it can also be a source of passive income. Okay, a lot of stocks I buy now actually is giving dividends. Okay, so that's why I do my stocks. Okay, this is the two objectives. Well, you can see here, wealth accumulation and passive income. Okay, this is why I actually go into stocks. Okay, so initially when I start into stocks, it's pure wealth accumulation. I just buy growth stocks. I don't care about dividends. But of course, as I age, so now my portfolio of income stocks is getting more and more and more. More and more and more. Okay, so yes, eventually this one, okay, it will become the main objective is for passive income. So same thing for margin on REITs. Okay, how it works here is this. Basically, for this system, I put in $1, I can put in $2 of REITs. I can buy $2 of REITs. So that means I borrow $1 from somebody else. Okay, so currently, right, the dividends on REITs is actually to pay off the loan. So I don't really get a passive income, but of course, eventually, you know, after they fully pay off, then I will enjoy the dividends. So same thing, margin on REITs is for wealth accumulation and passive income. CPF, to me, the only objective is to passive income. So of course, after 65, I'm actually going to get, you know, a steady flow of income from CPF. Okay, insurance is protection and passive income. Okay, I'll definitely talk. Okay, today I'll talk about insurance. So later, thanks for the question. So later you actually see very clearly what insurance I use. Okay, insurance is the objectives of protection and passive income. Okay, I use some of the insurance product for passive income. Okay, property. Okay, for me, there's no passive income from property. Like I said, I only have one property. So it's a pure wealth accumulation. Okay. Now, why I use unit trust and ETF is for pure diversification. So this is the reason why I dabble into unit trust, why I dabble into ETF. Okay, as you can actually see, the first five instruments, okay, all the money are actually basically in one country, Singapore. So in fact, when I actually do my first 5 systems, I realized easily 90% of my money is actually in Singapore. So if let's say I can afford, I should put some of my money outside. So this is what I do with my unit trust and ETF. Okay, they help me to invest in overseas stocks. Basically help me to invest overseas. This is the reason why I dabble into them. Okay, so hopefully this is very clear. So like, for example, you know, when you want to decide, should I use the money to buy stock? Should I actually use the money to buy REIT? Should I actually use the money to buy unit trust? You have to ask yourself, eventually, what objective you want to use this money for? So it's very funny. Like, for example, a lot of people buy overseas properties. You ask them actually for what? They say to make money. For capital gain. But then if they would have bought the property in Singapore instead, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, if they would have bought the property in Singapore instead, they would have made much more money. Then by buying overseas property, right, it's so much more hassle, so much more trouble, okay? And yet they're still making lesser than buying properties in Singapore. Okay, so be very clear what is it for. So I do this, it's not for making money, it's for diversification. And true enough, like for example, last year during the COVID period, okay, so a lot of my unit trust ETF are actually in China. I'm actually investing in China using this instrument. And what happened was this, I'm quite sure you all know, the stock market actually collapsed in Singapore. Of course, the global stock market collapsed, but Singapore took a longer while to recover. So in fact, Singapore haven't fully recovered yet. And my unit trust ETF actually, I think last year after 3 months, all went back up already. Okay, so be very clear. And in fact, the only reason why I want to consider overseas property is diversification. Okay, it's never about making money. It's to diversify. Okay, touch wood of course, I'm a lawyer, Singaporean. You know, I serve NS1. Okay, and of course, I hope that Singapore will be good, but nobody will know lah. Can one day Singapore be like Hong Kong or not? Can one day Singapore be like Afghanistan or not? Why not? Can one day Singapore be, you know, like other countries, like what is happening in other countries now? If you can afford it, it may actually make sense for you to do diversification. So this is the only reason why I'm thinking of overseas properties. Okay, if you actually want to make money, Singapore property, I've actually done the research. Okay, unless you really want to take super high risk, go and buy property in Cambodia, or go and buy property in third tier Vietnam city. Okay, or go and buy property in Myanmar. This kind of high risk one don't say lah. But if you are talking about a proper regulated city, okay, so far Singapore return is actually still the best. Okay, so again, long story short, I want to just summarize this slide. How you actually design your system, where money should put. You should ask yourself what objective it should meet now.